Good morning and welcome to the graduation ceremony of the 63rd State Patrol Training Academy. My name is Lieutenant Andrew Thielen and I have the privilege of being the Training Academy Director. I'm also honored to be the Master of Ceremonies for this event. At this time, the cadets of the 63rd Training Academy will be marching in to the event center to their Academy cadence. Please stand as the State Patrol Honor Guard posts the colors. After the colors are posted, Cadets Patrick Selly and Jeffrey Zerwas will be singing the national anthem. Uniformed personnel, please stand at attention. Non-uniformed personnel, please place your right hand over your heart.
Uniformed personnel, present, arms!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order! Out!
Audience, you may be seated.
Take seats!
Thank you, Cadet Selly and Zerwas. At this time, I would like to invite Army National Guard Chaplain Major Keith Beckwith up to the stage so he can offer some opening reflections.
Would you join me as I bless this occasion? Almighty God, we gather here on this occasion to celebrate the culmination of hard work, long days requiring endurance, in order to prepare and produce the leaders of the Minnesota State Patrol 63rd Trooper Academy seated here today. I pray they will sense your protection in the entire of their being as they leverage their training, remember the words of their cadre whom have led them to this point, and step into this role of protecting and serving all people through assistance, education, and enforcement, providing support to allied agencies, and providing for safe, efficient movement of traffic on Minnesota roadways. As they perform this crucial mission, I pray they would sense the support and appreciation from so many who benefit from those that are willing to take the stance of placing themselves in danger while others run from it. May they look to those troopers that have gone before them, who set the standard and left a legacy to follow. May they see the opportunity to teach and strengthen those that will come after them, leading by example. Finally, I ask that you would grant them courage to face and conquer fears, to go where others will not, strength of body and mind and spirit to lead and protect others, compassion for those they will see in need, and through all of this, guide them with wisdom and keen discerning mind as they make crucial decisions in the carrying out of their duties. I pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Beckwith. Director of Training, Captain Eric Barthel, will provide some opening remarks.
Good morning. To the scorching 63rd Academy, a name that is fitting as you've withstood the record heat wave, extreme drought, and smoke from the wildfires. Welcome to the family of the Minnesota State Patrol. You have endured an extremely long journey, one that started nearly a year ago, and for some of you, over a year. From the moment you applied, you have long awaited this day. Some of you with eagerness, some of you with apprehension, some of you with a complicated mix of emotions. However, whatever those feelings were, today you should feel a strong sense of pride. You did it. To the family and friends gathered here today, those watching online, we are delighted to have you here to participate in the 63rd Academy of the Minnesota State Patrol. That many of you traveled long distances serves to remind us all just how important this event and our work is. Thank you for being a part of this momentous occasion. I know you have an incredible amount of pride in the graduates as well. Graduates, there are many non-family members in attendance who took time out of their day to witness your transition from cadet to trooper. Their presence shows their support for you, and I know they take great pride and satisfaction in your accomplishments. This would not be the most prestigious of graduations if not for their attendance. On behalf of the 63rd Academy, welcome. It's a pleasure to see so many of you here. Graduates, take a breath, turn the page. You're on the next chapter of your journey of one of the greatest professions I know. We are fortunate to work for some of the greatest leaders this agency has seen, who truly care, not only about your professional skills, but your personal wellness as well. These leaders exemplify the core values of respect, integrity, courage, honor, and excellence. These are the core values of the Minnesota State Patrol that have been instilled in you since you first applied with the agency, and they are what the citizens expect of you throughout your career. Hold these values close to your heart, and you will have a long and prosperous career. So graduates, enjoy this next chapter, and welcome to our family. At this time, it is my pleasure to announce the Commissioner of Public Safety, Commissioner John Harrington, to provide some remarks. Commissioner?
Thank you, Captain. Appreciate the welcome. And I always appreciate the cadence as you march into the auditorium. It reminds me of academies, for me, over 40 years ago. As we prepare to send you out of this graduation onto the highways of the state, I want you to know that I recognize that a transformation has already taken place. Minnesota State Patrol continues to develop as a department that reflects the people that we serve by recruiting, hiring, and training a diverse force. You go out to a community where over 100 different languages are spoken. And today, as you go forth from this place, you'll bring a new meaning to the phrase, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Your recruit class is an example of the diversity of our community, with almost 40% of the class being women and people of color. And I'm going to challenge you, because the next class, I'd like to see that number at 50%. And you are our best salesmen. You are our best advocates. You are the people that can make a class truly as diverse as the state of Minnesota is. Today, we have in our presence someone who was a drone operator and a rock band roadie and a concert violinist, all in maroon and gold, and all committed to keeping Minnesota safe. What makes the Minnesota State Patrol so special is their legacy of excellence in policing. And it's a legacy of not just policing in isolation, but they police in partnership with the great citizens of Minnesota. It's incumbent upon each of you to take advantage of every opportunity to build bridges across Minnesota that will foster a safe, one Minnesota. Every traffic stop is an opportunity, including the one on that Maserati that's doing 125 up 35. Yep. And I expect you to catch them. It's an opportunity. Every crash of that same Maserati. Don't smile. I won't be able to see it behind the masks in any case. But I know we take a little glee when we see that high-performance car sitting on the road with the blown tires that the stop sticks have used. Every protest where we keep the peace, and yes, for some of you, every visitor to the great Minnesota get-together is an opportunity for you to show that when they go low, the Minnesota State Patrol goes high. Or in the words of the Reverend Martin Luther King, we are all caught in that inescapable network of mutuality, tied in that single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one Minnesotan affects us all. 2021 has been a year none of us will soon forget. The need for the State Patrol has never been greater, as nearly 400 of our neighbors and friends have died on Minnesota highways and streets. I've watched your leadership act with patience and diplomacy and integrity as they have led an agency that protects and serves the community. It is said that one should never doubt that a small group of committed individuals can change the world. Colonel Langer's people have shown how true that statement really is. And while there have been challenges this year, there is much to celebrate. And I can tell you that today's graduating class is high among the list of things that I celebrate and that I am most thankful for. I send you out from this place to work and to excel, to do more than you thought possible. You were all selected because we know that the test of a good person is not to be seen simply in their grades or how fast they run the mile through the woods of Camp Ripley, but in the content of their character and the decisions that they make. It is through your character that your greatness and the greatness of the State Patrol will be seen. It is in your moral courage that we place the faith of the people of Minnesota. We hired you for both your physical and moral courage, which requires that willingness for you to sacrifice yourself for the love that binds us to strangers that we have never met. To climb into that car when it's burning, knowing not who is on the other side of that steering wheel, what their background was from, or who they are, or what their future may bring. Our work is about taking a stand oftentimes is not for the values that make the world a better place. And I want you to know that to be a person of character, which I trust all of you are, often means entering a world of conflict. And in the conflict between good versus evil, we fight on the side of right. We fight to protect those who are defenseless and those who would be preyed upon by the tyranny of the strong. You have worked very hard through this academy to earn the shield that soon will be pinned upon your chest. And I tell you here and now that every day you must earn the right to wear that shield. That is your integrity and your adherence to high ethical values that gives you the right to wear the maroon and gold. The Minnesota State Patrol Academy has taken you from citizens to recruits, and now you stand ready to take an oath that will send you on to the next phase of this grand journey. And I trust that you are ready and willing to join those of us who have accepted the mantle of service and who willingly walk the dark places to keep our communities safe and peaceful. To your families and the witnesses that have come today to watch you take your oath of office and to cheer you on, I have one request. Keep our newest public servants close to your heart. And remember, you knew them before they wore the maroon and gold. In closing, I leave you with these instructions. They are the ones that I have offered in every department where I have served, and the instructions that I serve to live by myself. You are to be an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, you are to sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, you are to bring the light. And where there is sadness and those moments of tragedy and crisis, your presence is a comfort and a joy. Congratulations, recruits and troopers, to you all. And welcome aboard to one of the great police agencies in the state of Minnesota, if not the greatest. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrington. At this time, I would like to welcome the Chief of the Minnesota State Patrol, Colonel Matt Langer, to provide his commencement address. Colonel Langer.
Thanks, Lieutenant. I've been sitting here all day wondering how those 4 feet were going to go with my crutches between this little spot. I have the honor and privilege of serving as Chief of the Minnesota State Patrol, and it's so weird not to be here in uniform as I recover from a little repair to my hip. I'm proud of you. Wow, what a day. What a day, what an opportunity to be here in this space to share this momentous occasion in your life and your career. As I did the first day when we were together, I'll repeat again. I can't really see you behind your mask, but I sense that first day tensions, that anxiety still. Take a deep breath. Today is about you, and it's a good day, and it's fun and it's exciting. The logistics to run a State Patrol Academy are really incredible. We could not do this without great support from the Governor's Office, the Commissioner's Office, the Minnesota National Guard through Camp Ripley staff and General Lowell Cruz, the legislature, DPS staff, and all of our State Patrol members who contribute to a successful academy. And it's fun to see in the front couple of rows today, we've got Commissioner's staff, we've got at least 3 state senators, we've got the Attorney General, we've got police chiefs, we have a sheriff, we have a Wisconsin State Patrol lieutenant, and many others in the audience to share this day with us. I appreciate you taking the time to be here to support the Minnesota State Patrol and our 34 newest cadets. With all of the complexity in our world right now, all of the challenges, all of the rhetoric, and yes, all of the opportunities, it is invigorating to look at the 34 individuals who came together as a team to comprise the 63rd Academy class of our Minnesota State Patrol, and who represent the future of our organization as well as the profession. Today is a well-deserved recognition of your effort. It will be great to see the look on your face and the emotion in the faces of your loved ones as you receive your badge and take our oath of office in just a few moments. I'll let everyone in on a little secret as long as you promise not to tell all of our current applicants. The academy is really hard. It's intentionally hard. Sometimes people say, why? Because it creates the transformation necessary to be successful in this career. By transformation, I mean individual transformation and group transformation. No, we're not transforming who you are as a person, but we are certainly bringing to light the knowledge, the skill, the ability, the tenacity, grit, determination, and growth necessary to prove that you have what it takes. But you are proving this beyond your staff officers. You're proving it beyond your fellow cadets and leaders of the organization. You're actually proving it to yourself. You cannot grow if you are comfortable. Nothing worthwhile comes easy, And as you recognized on day one, yep, it's hard. If memory serves me, it took you over 40 minutes to come out of the billet the first morning, right? Pretty ugly scene that first morning. Our ask of you was pretty simple. Get out of the billet at a prescribed time, everyone dressed the same. Pretty simple in concept, but difficult in reality, especially on day one. When we were together on the first day, you might remember my candor when I said nothing about this academy gets easier. But you improve each day, which makes the tasks you confront each day seem easier. And as you transformed individually, you discovered it is impossible to make it through the academy without working as a team. Not just as a team that you maybe have been accustomed to in the past, but relying on each other, trusting each other, helping each other. And sure enough, with some practice, getting out of the billet in a few minutes or less with absolute precision became not only the norm, it became your preference for how things should be done. When we hosted a group of legislators and other key staff at Camp Ripley earlier this year, I explained one of our fundamental purposes at the Academy is to put cadets under intense fatigue, stress, and decision-making pressure. Not to be sadistic, but to help people grow. And for some of you, you've been there before and it wasn't new. And you probably wondered why you're here again. But for others, it was brand new territory. Getting yelled at while tired beyond words, stressed beyond measure, and simultaneously having to make a great decision was new. And guess what? You learned about yourself. You learned about your reactions. You learned about resiliency. And while you learned to adapt to that environment, you were building my trust that when you are out on a protest or out on a traffic stop or in any chaotic situation, you know how to dig deep and operate with our core values at the forefront, even, yes, when you find yourself tired, stressed, and forced to make a critical decision. Without a doubt, as the Commissioner noted, we need you on the roads. We need help with our mission of traffic safety. As we stand in the midst of a terrible uptick in the number of fatal crashes, I am excited to have 34 mission-driven individuals taking to the roads with passion to make them safer. I'm equally excited to have 34 examples of our core values on display for everyone else to see. You know them well by now. Respect, treating each person as we would want to be treated. Sanctity of life, as I've explained it, is not as much related to the use of force in policing or law enforcement as it is believing that every human being has inherent value. Treat people with respect. Integrity. There's not much more humbling than admitting a mistake. And every one of us has made mistakes. Tell the truth. It's far better than any fabrication. Courage. You've demonstrated the traditional courage necessary to do this job. But all along, we also talk about the other side of courage, meaning what it takes to raise your hand and stand up for what you think is right, which isn't always easy, but is always the right thing to do. Honor. We certainly honor those who have gone before us. Think about the troopers who have died in the line of duty and all of those retirees who have persevered to create the legacy that we own today. Think about the responsibility we have to do nothing other than to continue building and improving upon that legacy. And then excellence. It's not a destination, it's a journey. The process of continuously seeking excellence will keep us honest, keep us learning, and demonstrate a commitment to being the best we can be both individually and as an organization. When I think about my academy experience, and I've had a lot of time to think lately, laying around, I think about it, and I'm grateful for so many things. I'm grateful, of course, for Colonel Ann Beers, who hired me. I'm grateful for my academy staff officers who worked hard to help us improve while at Camp Ripley. I'm grateful for the incredible instructors who provided scenario-based training over 22 years ago that many agencies still wish to be able to incorporate into their regimen today. I'm grateful for the lasting relationships formed with my fellow cadets who have now become lifelong friends, people I rely on and who rely on me. The relationships you form in the academy are forever, and they are powerful. I'm also grateful that my academy was hard, which is a lot easier to say today than it was laying on my back in the middle of the night in the parking lot during a snowstorm. Why? Because I grew. I believed in the process. I believed in what our instructors told us. General Norman Schwarzkopf was a formidable leader during the Persian Gulf War. In leadership training, we often use one of the clips of the general speaking at West Point graduation now 30 years ago. He certainly has the swagger of a four-star general as he walks around on stage discussing off the cuff what makes a great leader. Competence and character, he said. And of course, competence is necessary. But he goes on to say, without character, you will never develop and garner the respect of the people you serve with. It takes competence and character. He goes on to talk about one of his classmates whom he thought had the utmost in character, and actually one day just asked him point blank, how the heck did you build such great character? The guy turned to him and said, you know, it's easy. When I was at West Point, I was one of the people who believed everything they told us up there, and I still do today. You could not make it out of our academy without demonstrating competence and character. I urge you to reflect back on your time at the academy. Believe in what you learned. Believe in what you were taught. Believe in what your staff officers told you. Think about what you are grateful for. Yes, it was hard, but you're grateful for it. We care about you and we care about your future. That's why the process was purposefully hard. You demonstrated competence and character, and you grew. And we are proud of you. In closing, or almost closing, one of the greatest things I like to do during these commencement addresses, tell a little bit about the State Patrol by sharing a story. And this one started back in the summer of 2017 when Trooper Keenan Jones intercepted an impaired driver. Trooper Jones found a man in shambles driving down the road with a bloody face from a nosebleed, a bottle of Fireball in the back seat, a mess. The person Trooper Jones pulled over made a series of incredibly poor decisions that night. His goal was to become a law enforcement officer, but in the moment of knowing he was under arrest for his actions, he saw his future falling apart. The man was admittedly an emotional mess in the back of Trooper Jones' squad car under arrest for impaired driving. He relayed that he remembered feeling hopeless and that there was no longer any point in living because of his error that complicated his chosen career. The man remembers Trooper Jones comforting him by reassuring him that nothing about his life was over, nor was his chosen career finished. Trooper Jones recently met with the man at his request, actually, the person who was arrested, and gave him some advice that reminded me of what Epictetus said as a Greek philosopher related to adversity. Quote, on the occasion of every accident that befalls you, remember to turn to yourself and inquire what power you have to turn it to use. Simply put, Trooper Jones said, you're sober now, you learned from your mistake, and you now have the opportunity to help others because you have experience that I don't. That's your story. 4 years after his arrest by Trooper Jones, the man has completed inpatient and outpatient treatment, finished his college degree, got married, and is proudly sober. He told Trooper Jones, and I quote, you saved my life that night, and probably someone else's. If anything can come from our story together, maybe someone else's life can be saved too. What a great story, and it all started with a traffic stop. Traffic law enforcement works. So this transformation of yourself and transformation as an academy class now comes with the added responsibility of getting out into this world to transform others, just like Trooper Jones did that night. You have the incredible opportunity to help others improve upon their current situation. When you leave today as a Minnesota State Patrol trooper, go out on a mission to be positive, supportive, convincing, educational, while enforcing the laws of our state so that lives are transformed and our roads are safer. And so as we are here on the brink of 34 new state troopers being sworn in, some might say this is a job. I think they're short-sighted. Some might say it's a career, which is a little bit more accurate. Some often say it is a calling, which is probably what most of us think. But maybe a better word for this is vocation. The word vocation actually comes from the Latin root word vocare, which means to call, to summon, or to rouse. That means a voice from somewhere, ultimately from within, spoke to you and said, go after this dream of becoming a Minnesota State Trooper. My hope for you is that this vocation is defined every day through the words author and theologian Frederick Buechner uses, a place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep need. We know full well the world needs us. The world needs you. And I can see the gladness in your faces, or at least in your eyes. Never let go of the feeling of today. You can carry it everywhere you go from here. Be safe, be careful, look after each other, and most of all, know that I care about you, your family, and your success with our organization. Congratulations.
Thank you, Colonel Langer. Each class honors one of its members by selecting them to speak on behalf of the entire class. This year, the 63rd class has selected Cadet Milo Allen.
Good morning. I'm humbled and honored to be up here this morning. I want to begin by thanking my class, the Scorching 63rd, for giving me the opportunity to speak on their behalf. I also want to thank Academy staff for your tireless efforts that you've put forth in shaping our class and who we've become today. Thank you to the many people who have stayed home. You took care of the homestead, you took care of children, and lived for weeks upon weeks without your loved one. Thank you. You've given so much to your cadet throughout this process, and it shows. In all, you've given 70 days and 70 nights with your cadet over to the State Patrol. That's over 1,100 hours of training. And believe me, it is worth it. I'm speaking on behalf of my classmates when I say this day seems so far off on July 18th when we showed up at Camp Ripley in an auditorium. We were sitting nervously and awaiting what would happen next. Moving on from week to week, when we started the academy, it seemed as though the academy would never end and life would never be the same. It was at a standstill. This academy has changed each one of us in different ways, as we have come from many different backgrounds. The 63rd class is unique in that the majority of the class is from the Law Enforcement Training Opportunity, or LETO program. LETO cadets are those who, after they are hired, spent 22 weeks at both Century College and Hennepin Tech before joining the academy. This class has 23 LETO cadets and 11 traditional cadets, or those with prior law enforcement. I can tell you how the LETO cadets have formed a tight bond all the way through that process in the early days of training. But when we arrived on July 18th and started the academy on the 19th, those traditional cadets became one with us. We quickly forgot who was LETO and who was traditional. It's incredible how these last 14 weeks have turned us in and grown relationships to become the Scorching 63rd. Cadets, today marks a continuation and a beginning of your career with the Minnesota State Patrol. The past 14 weeks have certainly tested us and strained us physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let me remind you of some things we've all been a part of at the academy. On the first day, you awoke to academy staff greeting you loudly outside your room at 4:34 a.m. You figured out in your sleepy stupor, or not so sleepy stupor, what you needed to get dressed in and meet the lieutenant. Nobody knew what to wear. You made it through the first day. That's right, we made it through. And on to the second day, when we learned you do not get up early at the academy to get things ready. Another early wake-up call at 5:30 a.m. when one cadet decided to get up and get a jump on the day. You had to be out and ready to go in exactly 17.4 seconds that day. Then there was marching into a tree, multiple, marching to the wrong building for chow, and parking squads. You'd think this was an easy task, but with 34 cadets and at least 4 staff watching every turn of the steering wheel, trying to keep it in a straight line as you back in creates quite a confused mess. As those early days of the academy turned into weeks, many of us kept wondering when the academy starts to get easier. We found out it doesn't. It doesn't get easier to show up on Sunday night. It doesn't get easier to get up on each weekday morning and get ready for physical fitness, or to find out you are now in a leadership position exactly 70 seconds before lights out. It doesn't get easier. You just get better as the academy marches on. There came a time when things started to click for us. We all learned how to come together and figure this thing out. I distinctly remember seeing the change in all of us at week 8. I could tell we were all getting tired of the direction we were headed. The best way I can describe it is that we were week 8 tired. It was 8 weeks of physical fitness, making small mistakes like leaving the lights on, forgetting hats, turning the wrong direction, wearing the wrong socks or masks, the wrong undershirt, or some other infraction. Moving forward from this point, I personally noticed as a class some major changes. I'm going to share a few of those here, and just bear with me on these. The first one is make your bed. One of the first tasks of the day in the academy is to make your bed. Now, as we know, it's not just thrusting the single sheet and one blanket up to where it's close and good enough. No, you got to enter or center the sheet tucked in, center the blanket to tuck it in just perfectly so you get a 45-degree angle at the foot of the bed, all while keeping the delicate balance at the top to make sure your pillow will neatly tuck under that blanket and the dust cover fits to cover your pillow. As small as it seems, this task stressed each cadet out early on in the academy, because if not completed just right, you'd probably have to make your bed a second time. As insignificant as this task is to most people, it was the first task of the day completed. But more importantly, as the academy went on, it was just one of the tasks you completed and did it right. It is this expectation of excellence that will translate into your work on the state patrol. Cadets, you've been given the training. Keep the excellence. Go out and make your bed. Secondly, in the academy, each day is filled with 617 small tasks that take your time, effort, and challenge your ability to multitask. Each and every minute of the day has a purpose. The little things add up to the big things, and you learn how to become better at them. You learn how to shave 4.6 seconds off your shower time, how to shave in seconds, and how to get dressed while academy staff is pushing you to get online. We learned how to clean our room in exactly 114 seconds before you need to be out and lined up for chow. In the first weeks, we all viewed these small separate tasks as just something you did each day, but then something clicked for us. All the small things added up to the big things. We learned the routines of getting our uniform lint-free, making sure our gig line was straight, polishing our boots and getting our blouse right, and then these things became second nature, and now we just do them and we focus on larger tasks at hand. We learned how to focus on 509 tasks at one time, when we have been told multiple times throughout the academy, it's the little things that add up to the big things. Don't forget it. Third, we learned about TCG or gigs at the end of week 6. Sergeant Cruiser addressed the class regarding the gigs that we had been adding up or accruing. If you don't have a knowledge of what a gig is, the best way I can describe them is to say, it's a record of your wrongs during the academy. Many of us had no clue what a gig was when we entered the academy, but soon found out they're very easy to acquire. After week 6, some cadets had acquired upwards of 638 gigs, in fact. On this night, Sergeant Cruiser explained how we would be able to, or allowed, to lower our gig count. Turns out we'd be given the opportunity to draw out of a container labeled TCG, towards 0 gigs. In this draw, we would receive some sort of physical activity to be completed that evening. Some examples included 125 push-ups, 200 crunches, 50 sets of lunges, or even a 3-minute speech on a topic chosen by staff. That was one of my personal favorites. Each activity would be worth 40 gigs off. So with reluctance, we all began to work off our gigs. Now the other part of this is we were still acquiring gigs each day, from uniform inspections, room inspections, and so on. So you may have worked off 40 gigs that night, but you may have also earned 15 or more gigs that day. Looking back, I see TCG had 2 purposes for us. First, it changed your perspective on physical training. 40 push-ups or 30 alternating crunches were no longer a mental defeat in morning physical training. It just became what we did. Those who struggled with push-ups, crunches, lunges, or even the morning runs became stronger both mentally and physically. Little by little, we learned it's all in your head, and by the late weeks of the academy, you came back with a stronger mental attitude. Our goal in the academy was to work towards 0 gigs, something we were able to accomplish. But now our goal is going to be to join and help work towards 0 deaths, especially at a time when fatalities are on an alarming increase. It's the extra you're going to put in that's going to make the difference. Number 4, you've heard this one already, trust the process. One phrase that stood out during the academy came early on from Sergeant Morrell. Trust the process. He said this one day as our class was marching along, heading to class somewhere. I don't recall where. We'd had a good morning of PT, and by good, I mean good and hard. And it seemed some of us were feeling sorry for ourselves, particularly myself. But that phrase made me stop and think. You don't have to take the whole academy in at one time. You just need to make it to lunch, and from there, get to dinner, and so on. That one phrase stood tried and true as we all began to trust the process of the academy. Each week brought on new challenges from staff and instructors to build us into who we've become today. So cadets, trust the process you've been through. Rely on the training you have received at the academy because it's the best you can get. And as you head out onto the field, continue to trust the process. One of the other terms you've heard, if it was easy, everyone would do it. This isn't an easy process, cadets. You know that. You have pushed through some of the most difficult training in law enforcement. You have committed to the process, built your leadership skills, and have integrated into the finest agency in the state. It's not going to be easy upholding respect, integrity, courage, honor, and excellence. But you've committed to these core values. You've shown you can and will uphold these. It's not easy, and not everyone can do it, but you can. Before I finish, I'd like to take a moment to thank Academy staff, the captain, lieutenants, sergeants, and troopers who do their job each academy to prepare and train the future of the Minnesota State Patrol. In particular, I'd like to thank one sergeant who has worked tirelessly at the academy for many years, and he is moving to a new assignment after this academy. I personally didn't know him until I met him at the DPS warehouse back in July of this year. In fact, I didn't even know how much he had to do with the academy until then. It's not a secret that I have a brother who is a state trooper. I asked him one day, "What is Sergeant Cruiser like?" His response to me was, "He's very good at his job." And those words are exactly how we've all come to know Sergeant Cruiser. He's very good at what he does, and so Sergeant Cruiser, the Scorchin' 63rd would like me to thank you for all of your efforts and hard work with the Academy. Sir, as you move to your new position in the agency, we would all like to wish you the best, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you very much. Cadets, you've reached the end of the Academy. Never lose the expectation of excellence. Remember the little things add up to the big things, and never stop moving forward. Overcome and win. Trust the process and stay committed. Thank you.
Thank you, Cadet Allen. The 63rd Training Academy has 2 awards that recognize class members attaining the highest level of accomplishments in the following categories: Academics and Chiefs Achievement Award. We'll start with the Academic Achievement Award. The Academic Achievement Award will be presented first. This award is presented to the Minnesota State Patrol Academy graduate who attains the overall highest academic scores during the Academy. This is no small accomplishment considering the amount of material that is presented in a short amount of time, along with the high standards and the intellect of all the graduates. The Academic Achievement Award for the 63rd class is presented to Cadet Mollie McClure. Congratulations, ma'am. The second award is the Chief's Achievement Award. This is based on excellence in overall performance in the 7 Academy objectives. They include professionalism, leadership, accountability, discipline, esprit de corps, and individual basic tasks, along with physical fitness. The cadet who demonstrates the 5 Minnesota State Patrol core values of respect, integrity, courage, honor, and excellence. The Chief's Achievement Award for the 63rd class is presented to Cadet James Lee. Congratulations, sir. At this time, the 63rd class will retire the guidon. One of the ways in the Academy to build pride as a class and individually was the use of a guidon. A guidon is an individually designed flag used to identify a unit or class when marching. Each class personalizes their guidon by designing and adding a streamer which adds their class identity. The 63rd chose Scorchin 63rd to identify themselves. I agree the class chose their name wisely, with this being the first summer academy in many years. The guidon is used to stress the goals that the class is working towards and to show pride in an organization with which they wish to belong. Academy staff present the guidon to one individual that has shown outstanding performance, high motivation, exceptional leadership, or other similar characteristics. The chosen cadet becomes the guidon bearer, and they carry the guidon until the Academy staff pass it on to another deserving cadet. The guidon is required to be with the class at all times and must lead the class on group marches and runs. Cadet Lee will now retire the guidon to Sergeant Preston Cruiser, and it will be put in safekeeping until it is introduced at the 64th Academy to carry on this proud tradition. At this time, I would ask all badge pinners to proceed to the side of the event center and meet with Academy staff so they can assist you in getting lined up.
Squad 4, attention. Right face. Forward, march.
Badge 663, Christian Jensen, being pinned by his wife Lynn and accompanied on stage by his children Tor and Tio. Badge 432, Milo Allen, being pinned by his wife Kelly and accompanied on stage by his 4 boys, Peyton, Carter, Oliver, and Henry. Badge 664, Derek Rowe, being pinned by his sister Brianna and accompanied on stage by his mother Nancy. Badge 667, Alejandro Dominguez, being pinned by his wife Danielle and accompanied on stage by his mother Cindy Gamboa. Badge 665, Justin Rankin, being pinned by his father Bruce and accompanied on stage by his mother Lauren and son Colton. Badge 653, Sean Bruns, being pinned by his mother Jody and accompanied on stage by his father Rick and girlfriend Haley Munson. Badge 311, Chad Peterson, being pinned by his wife Sarah and accompanied on stage by his parents Lance and Michelle. Badge 593, Jordan Lothert, being pinned by his mother Sherilyn and accompanied on stage by his father Kevin and girlfriend Alana Ludwig. Badge 668, Patrick Selly, being pinned by his fiancee Kate and accompanied on stage by his parents Rob and Shelley, along with his daughter Riley.
Right face. Forward march.
Badge 543, Kasapa Vale, being pinned by his grandfather Michael and accompanied on stage by his fiancee Alexis Pagel. Badge 672, Levi Ward, being pinned by his grandfather John and accompanied on stage by his parents Michael and Julie. Badge 674, Zachary Lehner, being pinned by his father Scott and accompanied on stage by his mother Kim. Badge 655, Dalton Miller, being pinned by his mother Nancy and accompanied on stage by his sister Andrea. Badge 343, Mollie McClure, being pinned by her brother Trooper Lee McClure and accompanied on stage by her parents Scott and Terry. Badge 673, Andrew Schomer, being pinned by his mother Elizabeth and accompanied on stage by his father Eugene and girlfriend Taylor Winters. Badge 671, John Raby, being pinned by his wife Holly and accompanied on stage by his daughter Emery. Badge 533, Jeffrey Zerwas, being pinned by his father, Sergeant Steve Zerwas, and accompanied on stage by his wife Haley and their two sons, Oliver and Brooks. Badge 662, Michael Peterson, being pinned by his mother Mary and accompanied on stage by his father Brian. Badge 385, Taylor Znjada, being pinned by his father, DNR Captain Pat Znjada, accompanied on stage by his mother Karen and sister Felicia. Badge 670, Ovi Ovaje, being pinned by his son Liam and accompanied on stage by his wife Melissa and daughter Emmy. Badge 415, Nicholas Brown, being pinned by his father James and accompanied on stage by his mother Mary. Badge 669, James Noxon, being pinned by his wife Nicole and accompanied on stage by his daughter Khaleesi and parents Jim and Dawn. Badge 102, Nicholas Swanson, being pinned by his father Shane and accompanied on stage by his mother Terry and wife Caitlin. Badge 464, Logan Knipp, being pinned by her parents, John and Jody. You're welcome. Badge 643, Delaney Slutton, being pinned by her grandmother Sophia and accompanied on stage by her parents Scott and Angela. Badge 624, Ryan Mosier, being pinned by his wife Lauren and accompanied on stage by his sons Ryder and Russell. Badge 532, Ryan Londrigan, being pinned by his wife, Grace. Badge 660, Brianna Dingman, being pinned by her mother Sandra and accompanied on stage by her father Dean and fiance Matt Perkle. Badge 656, James Lee, being pinned by his wife Sandy and daughter Erilyn. Badge 661, Raj Patel, being pinned by his father, Vipal, and accompanied on stage by his mother, Neha. Badge 675, Albert Sidhu, being pinned by his spouse, Takesha Webb, and accompanied on stage by his sister, Maso Sidhu. Badge 627, LETO Yang, being pinned by his father, Yeah, and accompanied on stage by his mother, Sue. Badge 640, Patrick Fitzgibbons, being pinned by his fiancée, Hannah May. Badge 446, Angela Greenhalgh, being pinned by her boyfriend, Andrew Burdick. So just stay standing. Colonel Langer will now administer the oath of office to the new troopers. All troopers and cadets, please rise.
Thank you. Cadets and troopers, I'll ask you to join me in the oath. Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name. I do solemnly swear. To support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Minnesota. And that I will faithfully and impartially. Discharge the duties of State Patrol Trooper. Employed and designated under. And pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 299D. In all acts amendatory thereto. To serve the state of Minnesota. And the United States of America. Honestly and faithfully. And at all times fulfill my oath. As State Patrol Trooper. To be loyal to my supervisors and fellow troopers. And obey and enforce the law. Without fear, favor, or discrimination. As to class, color, race, or creed. To help those in danger or distress. And if necessity arise. Lay down my life. Rather than swerve from the path of duty. And to conduct myself at all times. In accordance with the highest moral standards. And never commit any act.
and never to commit any act
that will reflect discredit on the Minnesota State Patrol
that will reflect discredit on the Minnesota State Patrol
or any member thereof.
or any member thereof.
All this I solemnly swear,
All this I solemnly swear,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
It's my honor to make it official and present to the state of Minnesota the newest 34 state troopers, the 63rd graduating class of the Minnesota State Patrol. Congratulations.
Audience, if you would remain standing as the honor guard will now retrieve the colors. Audience and troopers, please be seated. I'd like to personally congratulate the graduating class of the 63rd Training Academy. I wish you best of luck in your future careers. I'd like to thank you all for attending the graduation ceremony of the 63rd Training Academy. Please join us in the Sky Yuma room in the back for refreshments and drive safely on your way home. Thank you.